I was learning some stuff about the sun today. Oh, man, it's just so inspiring. Like I've been having these, I've been having these weird ideas about the sun and the moon. And you probably heard the theory of the moon being a burnout sun, which I think is kind of a fun idea to think about because what the fuck is the moon? It looks like it's been through some weathering. It's been up there a minute. But we never see anything hit it. We don't see it getting struck by anything. All the craters or whatever impacts are all just hit straight on. What are the chances of that happening? You know, where all the impacts were straight on, like from every angle of the fucking thing. And the moon has some weird fucking, like the moon has like a navel. Like I guess I don't know what it looks like in other parts of the world, because I guess the moon is upside down if you're in Australia or whatever. But however that works, but it's like from where I'm at here in California, the moon has like this little navel on its bottom, like, and it's kind of has like these stretch marks that come down to a little navel. You can see it. I mean, it's plainly obvious. I mean, it has an appearance where it looks like it was sort of fleshy at one point, or like it had like it's hardened since it was whatever it was before. I mean, I don't think it was always in the same state that it's in right now. Like it looks like it's been weathered, like greatly. It looks like an old husk of like something that used to have functionality of sorts other than just drifting around and being illuminated and glowing and like it seems like it used to have a like a purpose other than just being this husk of a thing, this mysterious beautiful like sphere floating through our sky. It could easily have been like perhaps the earth is this realm that the sun can only do its thing for so it's the sun is electrical. It's an electrical phenomena. Like like a friend of mine used to have a plasma cutter he would use to cut metal and stuff. Plasma cutter. What's up, Justin Johnson? Nice to see you, my friend. You ever used a plasma cutter? It's like an electrical. It's electric, right? Plasma. It's fucking wild. So the sun is an electrical phenomena, right? I mean, that's I guess that's an understood fact. I mean, they say it's nuclear fission or whatever, and like that might be part of what's going on, but I think there's a lot more to it. I mean, I think it's pretty much accepted in the mainstream that the sun is pretty mysterious. We don't quite know how it works. They do claim to know to some extent, how stars are born and all this nonsense, but I mean, that's pretty much been exposed as just like garbage, right? Um, it's information that like is highly like debatable. The sun is definitely putting off energy and electricity. It's like our main source of it. I mean, like if you had to grow a plant under a burning ball of nuclear, like a nuclear fire, how do you think your plant would fare under, like if the only source of light and energy was this fire? I think your plant would get shriveled up and die. Make good firewood after a few days. So, but how do you think that plant would grow if you stuck it under an electric light bulb? It'd do great. It'll grow just like it does outside. It'll look the same. So, with that in mind, perhaps the sun, I probably lean more towards an electrical source of light and energy power. A light bulb gets hot too, and like, but it's not your average light bulb, right? It's whatever it's plugged into. I mean, it's whatever's going on there. I mean, we don't have a whole lot to work with. We just know that it circles over our head, and it's on a very regular schedule, and it starts in the middle, and then it works its way out. I believe that it just works its way out, and then it works its way back in, and that's how we have our seasons and everything. I don't think that it works its way out, and then somehow starts working its way back in somewhere else, and then it works, and then has that kind of thing. Fuck, I don't know. I never left Earth to witness that. I've never even traveled the whole Earth in order to experience that or understand that. But I do. My dad used to live in the North, where there was 24 hours of sun and, where it was dark all fucking winter and shit. I trust my dad. I know. I mean, we know that there's not a whole lot of fake 24-hour sun videos coming from the north, right? We only see those from the south. So it's like, that would lead you to believe that, and those didn't start showing up until around 2015, 16, after the flat earthers pointed out that there's zero evidence of a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Zero. And in fact, the cameras that were down there, shooting 24-hour videos, the government facility or whatever, they had the nighttime hours edited out. So it looked like a 24-hour sun video, but you just look at the clock and you see that it's missing 8 hours of light of time. And so Jaron emailed them. They said, well, we had to edit out the dark hour. They straight admitted that there's nighttime hours down there. So like, what the fuck? I mean, that pretty much debunked it right there. But then all these 24-hour videos started showing up. It's like, man, fuck you. So it's like, we've known there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica for a long time. Yeah, and how did you know that? Well, we've known. That's funny because by the time someone finally pointed out that there was no evidence of it, I think that's when we all kind of realized that we didn't know that. In fact, it wasn't a fact. It's something you had to take with a grain of salt. At this point, I would tell you, like, that it's probably not a reality. Because, I mean, the way things played out, it's just so fucking sus. Just, it's like, come on. Anyways, there might be 24 hours of light down there because there's a phenomenon of the coffee cup caustic where it's like you can actually have light in that. As the sun is traveling around its biggest circle it's making, it lights up the ice shelf and the perimeter and the whole thing can be lit up while the sun is clear on the other side of the world. It's pretty incredible if that's what's happening. And I've got enough testimony from people that claim to have seen that actually. So I could see how maybe there was a time when people thought that's what was going on. There's 24-hour sun in Antarctica. It's kind of like the Earth sort of set people up to think it was a globe. I don't think that was just some harebrained scheme where they just decided to come up with this crazy idea. Let's think of some fancy pants science and let's just make everybody believe it. Because there's evidence that could maybe lead you out on that limb, Of course, you have to accept upside down people, which is kind of it's a hard one to swallow. That's the kind of thing you got to be taught at a very young age, kind of like when you're taught Santa Claus. This harebrained story that really doesn't make any sense, that you have no evidence to support, but you just get told that it's true. So you just like, oh, okay, it's true, But then when you grow up later and someone says, that whole thing about upside down people, it sounds about as true as Santa Claus, Really, I can believe it. I can believe it about as much as I would believe a man coming down a chimney with presents for me that doesn't even know me, but he does. He's watching me all year. The Santa story is a bit creepier, but still, upside down people that's actually pretty creepy too, honestly, because that would mean because they don't feel upside down, so that would mean I'm upside down and I don't feel upside down. Okay, this is just getting crazy. I mean, it's like just because of what you see in the sky, you think people are upside down now. That's a hard one to swallow. You have to invoke a lot of magic for that. I'd rather just invoke a magical sky than to invoke a magical upside down people. But I guess you could go with that if you want. I mean, there's magic in either one, so it's like both of us are gonna have to accept some kind of magic, So that's fine. I'll accept magic where I'm right side up. I prefer to be right side up. And anyways, I mean, is it not evident by now that flat Earth is just about honesty? It's not really about anything else. It's not about being correct or factually scientific. It's like factually, scientifically, theoretically. Those words have just been so twisted and fucking misused to the point where it's just like it's just garbage. It's like if I wanted to get 100% correct answers on the test, I know how to answer those questions correctly according to their paradigm. But if I want to be honest, and I was going to give an honest report of what's happening here on Earth, my experience and how I treat the Earth, I'm going to have to just be like, okay, look, the Earth is stationary, and it's a level plane. There's there's topographical, and there's water. There's a lot of fucking water, and the water is a level. It's indicating a level plane that we exist on. and it's stationary. We got stuff in the sky circling around. That's my honest report of what's going on here. It's just honest, 100% honest. I'm not lying to you about anything that I'm experiencing here or how I treat the earth. It's coming at you 100% pure. I know that if I answered like that on the pop quiz, I'd fail. But that pop quiz wasn't about my honesty. They weren't asking me for an honest report on what my experiences with Earth and how I treat the Earth. They're not asking me what I think or what my honest opinion or my honest report would be. They're asking me to give the correct answers that they've already taught me. So I'm just regurgitating some crap that's never been proven to me. I just was told, and I was given, shoddy evidence that I can go debunk right now. Oh, the ship's over the horizon. Oh, I got a camera that debunks that one. Oh, well, the sunset. I got my camera debunks that one too. Oh, well, refraction. Okay, well, we can see silhouettes from hundreds of miles away. Silhouettes, shadows. Shadows don't refract. You got some problems with your model here, man. We can see gas planets trillions of miles away. They're lit up by the sun. A ball of gas formed, and it's lit by the sun. When is the last time you seen gas form a sphere and you could shine a light on it from a trillion miles away and then look at it from a trillion miles away? It's pretty neat. You can see it every night. It's some fancy stuff. See, I wouldn't give you that kind of report if I was going to just report the place I live here, honestly, just 100% honest. I had to be as honest and pure as, like if it was God giving me my pop quiz, not my teacher. God. God's like, give me a report on Earth. You better answer honestly. I'll know if you're fucking full of shit. Okay, it's down. It's getting real. Whatever I say, you got to take with a truckload of salt. If I say you take it with a grain of salt, it's nothing. It's meaningless. It's like, doctor says, here, take this medicine with a grain of salt. Oh, okay. You take the medicine, you're like, fuck the grain of salt, whatever. Doctor says, take this medicine with a truckload of salt. You're like, oh, fuck. That's a situation. That's a real life. You can't really, ignore that. So you have to give it to God with a truckload of salt. God, the earth it's a level stationary plane with luminaries that rotate over our heads. That's my 100% honest report. People have believed it to be a ball flying through a vacuum with this magical force called gravity that sort of coalesced everything, and we just sort of sparked out of all this gravitational magic. It's a long story, God. It's one that I don't believe either. However, I don't know how this all happened. I would just assume that the person, God, giving me this pop quiz might be responsible for it. So I'm answering as honestly as I possibly can, which is I treat the Earth as though we're a level stationary plane. So that's how I'm going to report it as being. And I happen to know that they build aviation for use over a stationary flat Earth. That's in the fucking design models. Because when it's down to brass tacks and people's lives are at risk, at stake, they got to get real for a minute. They're like, okay, this is built for use over a flat stationary Earth. You don't have to tell anybody that. The Globers come at you like, well, that's just them simplifying the math. Yeah, I know. That's what you do with math. That's how math is done, right? You simplify it, right? You don't just complicate it. No, that's not how math is. That's reverse math. Math, what you're told to do with a math problem is simplify it. So how do you simplify the math for the globe? Well, it turns out the answer is flat, non-rotating Earth. That's the simplified math, which is funny because here I am, a dumb flat earther, and that's what I said. So it turns out the simplified math for the globe is what I think. So who's the incorrect person here? Who's incorrect in that situation? Tell me. Who do you think is being incorrect? As far as I'm concerned, the debate's over. I was right. Once you simplified all your bullshit, now it's what I was saying. That's fancy. That's pretty entertaining. So that means all the stuff you were saying was just a moot point because it simplified into what I was saying. So what are we even fighting about? Nothing. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I mean, we both agreed. We're in agreement. I don't need to complicate. I'm not going to complicate things and then say that's how it is. No, you simplify the math and then say that's how it is. That's not, you don't go the other direction. Earth is all this math. No, you simplify the math and then that's the answer, right? Unfortunately, there's only one person watching me. I think I'm pretty fucking brilliant. But, I'm just a dumb flat earther. What do I know? I know that every country in the world, we're all, there's all this tension, there's warring factions, there might be a nuclear war and world war, people are bombing each other and dying and shit. But it just so turns out that all those countries, they got no problem peacefully guarding together an area that none of us can go access without like jumping through a million hoops and forking out a fucking small fortune. We're not really welcome there is what I'm saying. We're not really welcome anywhere near there without fucking, without their specific clearance and a buttload of money. So basically, it's not happening, right? So, and it just so happens they don't have any conflicts there. They're all guarding this perimeter perfectly at peace with each other. So, what's really going on, man? What's really going on? Well, I'll tell you what's not really going on. There's not any real wars going on. It's all drummed up fucking, it's population control. I mean, it's like reduction, whatever you want to call it. Those countries aren't really that mad at each other if they're all peacefully guarding the boundary of our limit, the limit to our fucking realm. They're like, okay, you guys can come over here. We're all going to guard this over here in perfect harmony with each other while we pretend we're hating each other over here. But when we're over here, we're all working together and we're not letting you guys come over here. We're not going to say, we're all mad at each other over here. And while you're all part of this, you think this is all what's going on. But we're all peacefully holding hands over here, but not you. Nope. And we're just making sure you don't come here because penguins and shit, or you might die. But you don't care if we get bombed and die over here. But you care if we freeze to death out here. Apparently that's a real big deal to you. What I'm saying is, being a flat earther is about being honest. Being a glober is about cognitive dissonance, which is pretty much the opposite of honesty. Because it's when you're realizing that what you believe is lacking logic, doesn't check out, is in stark contrast to what your entire experience has been. So you're just like, it's short-circuiting. You can't really do much in that situation. You're just trying to get through it, You're not really very useful at that point. Spitting a bunch of moot points, fucking fighting with people about shit that's not even real. Your math simplifies and it ends up equaling what I said. But you're calling me stupid, but I already had the answer to the problem here. I was correct. Who's stupid? We live in a bass-ackwards world, my friend. Anyways, I don't think I'm going to play a song right now. I just wear this because it looks cute on me. I love you, man. Cheers. Keep it flat. Keep it real. Be honest. Don't fucking spit a bunch of nonsense. You don't want to live in cognitive dissonance. That's just bullshit. That's right. That's right. It is.